You're good, Knicks fans. Wow, what a season we just endured right here. And now it's playoff time, baby. It's playoff time. New York Knicks, we finally know our opponent is the Philadelphia 76ers. And we got the OTB heavy hitters on right now. This is the bomb squad. This is the squad here that is always fighting in the chat about everything Knicks. We got a couple Knicks haters in the chat. I don't even want to name drop them right here because then they just start saying I'm a hater. I know y'all know who y'all are. Y'all know who y'all are. But here we are, fellas, man. I'm happy to be back talking with my brothers, man. It's been a while. It's been a while. I got on a couple weeks ago back with Don Juan and Zebo. It felt so good to be back, and now I even feel better because I'm with my brothers on the OTB, man. Thank y'all for joining here. So we're gonna go around the table, throw it to Zebo, man. Tell the people it was really good.
Yo, we here, man. Playoff time, bro. I mean, at this point, bro, we regulars now in the playoffs, so I'm ready to get it started, man. And
Mm.
shout out to everybody here, man. I'm just ready to get it started, man.
Yeah, Zebo, tell me something about the season, man. What made this next season so special for you?
I mean, honestly, bro, just the circumstances, like just seeing all the injuries that happened throughout the season, bro. Just to see how everyone kind of just came together, man, and just to see some of the guys that just stepped up for us, like Deuce, iHeart, everybody, man. And like I said, man, I'm the Coach Tibbs guy of the show. So my guy's just been holding it afloat the whole season. So that's really my MVP of the season. So just seeing how Coach Tibbs just been doing this thing the whole season, keeping everything afloat, keeping us, obviously to a top two seed. That's just been the surprising part. So just to see the haters shut up, like you, and to see that, to kind of calm down the haters a little bit on Coach Tibbs, that's been the fun part.
Well, if y'all don't know Zebo, a season full of surprises and superstars, and his MVP is Tom Thibodeau. That tells you everything you got to know about the guy. This guy is just nuts. But let's keep pushing, man. Omar, bro, been a long time. Good to finally chop it up with you, man. Tell me what's good with you and what made this special season for you, this special Nick season for you.
Well, Triple M, it's always a pleasure to talk Knicks with you guys. I don't do it too often anymore. I talk about a lot of other stuff, but always great to chop it up with you guys. And hey, 50 wins. Triple M, you predicted at the beginning of the year. I thought they had a chance. I didn't. And to Zebo's point about the circumstance, I didn't think with all the injuries and stuff it was possible. But yeah, we did it. Team stuck together. This team just feels special. We got a superstar in Jalen Brunson who's going to get MVP votes, and that to me is what stuck out the most. We haven't been able to say that for a very long time. And we got a true, kind of tongue in cheek, a true 1A. So we got the guy here. I truly feel like I'm not afraid of anybody in this playoff, even Boston. I think we could hang with any team. Not saying, we'll talk more about it later, but, I just think we can hang with anybody. And, this team got me excited. I can't wait for the playoffs to start this weekend.
Exciting season. Even though we lost you and Zebo's main guy, Julius Randle, it would have been real special to see Julius if he could have bounced back. He's been struggling a couple playoff series in a row, but that month of January, man, you really saw Randle play one of the best
Peak,
basketballs. Yeah, it was great to see it. It's a shame we won't see it in the playoffs, but let's keep it pushing. Don Juan, man, how you feeling, bro? And what made this next season so special for you?
Well, honestly, it's the fact that we're officially contenders. We enter the ball game. Now we're in conversation. I felt like we've always been overlooked. Obviously, we've seen the things. We've seen things brewing from last year. We saw that there was potential there. Unfortunately, we didn't have a healthy team. But if you look at now, there's almost similar circumstances now. Injury again, but we're here and we actually have a chance at maybe even making the finals. Obviously, we still need to play the game. Still plenty of teams on ahead of us that it's not an easy road, but nonetheless, I feel like now people are actually taking us serious. Even though if you look at FanDuel right now, they're really not. But that's okay. I mean, I guess we just got to play one round and then things will settle out in terms of the Vegas odds and the Vegas gods. But man, I'm just excited that we're actually in the conversation, man. It's been long awaited. Since 2013, I feel like that was the last time people were actually talking about Knicks being actual contenders. And even then, I felt like teams weren't really giving us respect. Obviously we did lose in the second round, but I felt like we were one of those teams that we were just real. We were set up to beat the Heat, and unfortunately, we didn't get to come across them. We ended up losing to the Pacers, but hey, that's no here nor there. We're in 2024, looking at this new road ahead with this great cast of guys, with an official a superstar point guard on our team. That honestly, if you told me that he was going to be in the MVP conversation earlier on in the season, I mean, it would have been a lie, honestly, I swear. But yeah, man, just nice to see that we actually are forming out. The vision of what the front office had for us is actually playing out just the way they had it. Because honestly, some of us, I mean, I didn't really see it clear as day, but some people even halfway through the season didn't see what the team was building. So it was nice to see that we're actually in this position now, guys. Second seed, 50 wins, man. I feels like I'm dreaming, man. Somebody pinch me. Somebody pinch me.
Yeah, what a season indeed. And I love it. I love being the underdog because we've been underdogs all season. So why stop now? Why stop
Facts.
now? Keep it going. Keep doubting us. And we're going to keep proving the haters wrong and the doubters wrong. That's what we've done all season. It's kind of like what Jalen Brunson's always says. There's always a what if, a but. Like the Knicks are good, but this, but that. I
Yeah.
think I'm loving this underdog story. But yeah, man, let's talk to my guy, Chris. Chris, this is completing your fourth season. It started kind of in the COVID time, kind of ramped it up here, and here you are, man. A fourth season for you as the president of the OTB, man. How's it been this season overall? In general, it's been a long time. We haven't talked to you all season, so tell us how the year's been going. And again, I'm gonna ask you the same question: what made this season so special for you as a Knicks fan?
Yeah, I think the last show we did was before the season. I mean, predictions and all that. And you hit it on the head. You said 50 wins. We got 50 wins, and I think I said like 45, 46, and all that. So they exceeded
It's because RJ,
expectations for
RJ
me,
was on
man.
the team still, so
That's
you were
kind of
feeling.
man. I wasn't, and it's crazy. He's a Duke boy too, but wasn't feeling it and all that. And it's just the season was just great, man. It was just a lot of fun to see Brunson's become an MVP can like I don't nobody saw that coming. I mean, when we got him, it was like, all right, we solidified the point guard. We got a solid point guard, and above average point guard, and that's how desperate we were. We just wanted something solid, and to get this is like, yo, this is just added. And then Dante coming in and him, most threes in Knicks history. Like it's just been all the fun, and it sucks that Julius isn't going to be a part of it, but like Zebo said, Thibs, I've been a Tibbs guy too. I know people have been trying to fire him since he got hired. That's just silly, man. I mean, that's the old Knicks culture. We wanted to establish a new Knicks culture, and that's been the fun part. Is like we're not a butt of joke. Nobody's really joking on. Like we're not getting made fun of like we used to. It's not LOL Knicks no more, and just like to be taken serious, like yo, actually, and to have people who probably would be clowning us to be like, yo, hey man, yo, they doing something over there in New York. They got Brunson, they got and then again, OG was just like that was just like that really changes. Obviously, we know what he's done when he's on the court with us, so it's been fun, man. I'm just enjoying this, and then but obviously it's playoff time, so let's go, man. We got Philly. We know that that's a rivalry just in itself. Forget basketball and all. That's just a rivalry itself. New York, Philly. Philly always tried to think they're tougher and all that, just in general. So, we coming at it. So I'm ready, man. I'm excited.
The I-95. The I-95 trip to Philly. I know there's gonna be a lot of Knicks fans shooting over there, man. I'll be in Philly all the time, so you might see me out there too. But yeah, Chris, just piggyback on some of your points. We have a point guard. We're not talking about Frank Ntilikina no more, Jared Jack. We could go down this nasty list. I don't even want to go down
Nasty, bro. That's a
that rabbit
podcast in
hole.
itself, man. That's a
Yeah, yeah,
podcast
yeah.
in
We,
itself.
actually, that's a great point, Chris. Let's set that up. Let's talk about old Knicks point guard. Let's just have a podcast and let's rank them. From worst to worser. It's just been terrible
Oh man, I know,
here
right? Oh,
in New
nasty
York.
point guards.
But hey, man, we have Philadelphia 76ers, a 2 versus 7 seed, and I think you can guys can all agree with me. Philly is not your average 7th seed. Joel Embiid has missed about 2 months, came back kind of 2 3 weeks left in the season, kind of ramping it himself back up. Re-injured that knee, and didn't look too good yesterday. Didn't look too good yesterday, but the man is a walking 35 and 15. I mean, he just rose out of bed and he's scoring 35 and 15 automatically. So this is not gonna be an easy battle, fellas. So let's go right into it. Recap of the season against Knicks versus 76ers. I'm gonna break it down for y'all right now. The first game we played the Sixers, we won 128-92, blowout fashion here. Second game, we won 110-96, another blowout game that the Knicks handled business. Third game, we lost 73
That
79.
that next game is nasty.
That might have been the worst game of the Knicks season. It was the second leg of a back to back. I mean, we just had no legs. We just played. I gotta look it up, but I know the game before we only allowed 74 points to another team. And
Yeah,
I was
yeah, yeah,
joking with
yeah, yeah.
everybody, and then the next day we scored 73. Everybody was coming. We was actually played the Magic. I remember that game. We played the Magic, a tough game against the Magic. And then the last game against the Sixers, we won 106-79. So the Sixers never scored over 100 points against us. So this is going to be an interesting battle against the 76ers. So, fellas, I want to start off. The first question I got for y'all is, who's the biggest X factor for you guys during these playoffs? I'll start off first. We talked about Joel Embiid, man, and I think this is a great question because there is no wrong answer. It's going to take a total team effort by the New York Knicks to beat this 76ers squad because they're a tough squad. You know, they might have been the third best team in the East coming into the season. So it's going to be a battle, but I think it got to be that combo of Mitch and Ihart. I mean, they're going to be challenged with the task of slowing down. Arguably, he was on his way to back MVPs. I mean, the man was
Yeah,
rolling all
he really
season
was.
before he got hurt. And he was trying to get the MVP. He was like picking his games, who to play against. It was something crazy. Patrick Beverly dropped that gem on his podcast. He's like, I'm playing against the Pacers. He's playing against teams that he knows he could go out there and score 45 against. So this is gonna be a tough battle for Mitch and Ihart because Embiid. He's gonna be foul hunting. He's gonna be looking to get the guys in foul trouble, and he's gonna just be a menace down there. So Ihart and Mitch, man, they gotta stay out of foul trouble. I think that's number one. Don't go for the pump fakes. Embiid is going for the pump fakes all day. So try to stay at home and try. There's no way you can stop Embiid, but you can limit him. And then I think Ihart and Mitch, they got to get down there. They got to get dirty. They got to get gritty. Kind of like last year against the Cavs, man. That combo of Mitch and Ihart, they won us that series against the Cavs because they just played amazing that whole series. So I can't wait to see what Mitch and Ihart have coming up for this Philly series. But Chris, what about you, man? Who will be your biggest X factor coming into this series?
Bogdanovich.
Mm,
That's the X
good
factor,
one.
man. Bogey needs to. He's got to step it up. He's got to be the X factor in this because we got him for a reason. We needed scoring and all that. And towards the end of the season, he started to show what he was doing in Detroit. So that was a good sign. But early on, he struggled. But that first Philly game, I think he had like 20. Second one, he had 0. I forgot what he had in the third one, but we can't have that inconsistency. And I know it's difficult to go when you're a starter, even if you're on a bad team. You go from a starter averaging 20, and now you go to a different team, and now you're coming off the bench. It's hard to get in the rhythm. So I understand that. So I was a little bit more patient with Bogey than the other people. But and like I said, he started to play better now. But he's key. He's going to be key and all that. We need his shooting, we need his scoring and all that. So he to me is the X factor. And I trust everybody else, but it's going to come down to him making shots and all that, and just seeing which version. Because in the three games he had, he's up. Like I said, he had a 20-point game, then he had a 0-point game. Now that 0-point game, that was a nasty game. That was, like you said, it was the back to back. So I get it, but which bogey we gonna get? We need to see the bogey that we saw towards the end of the season that was hitting shots and then getting confident. Because once he gets rolling, he gets hot. So we need that and all in this series. And all we're gonna need scoring because Philly. they struggle scoring and all that. And, at times we can struggle, especially when Brunson's off the court. And that's going to be the key too. So we need Bogey to be able to get some buckets when Brunson's off. So I think Bogdanovich is the key to this series. So he's my X factor in the series.
That's a great point, Chris, because Tibbs is going to play a tight rotation. So we might see 8.5 players playing. And where does Bogey fit in that? So it's going to be interesting because you just mentioned it. Those non-Brunson minutes are going to be huge for the Knicks. Like, we can't go out there and play Brunson 40 minutes a game. It's just going to be tough to do for an entire playoff series. And if we got a nice, fresh scoring Bogdanovich, that's going to go a long way to help us. But Don Juan, who is the X factor for you?
So the X factor for me has honestly been the X factor for the last 2 years now. Is Josh Hart. I mean, there's a guy that the Swiss Army knife. The guy just does it all for us. If you need some points, he puts his head down and drives into the paint. Does what you got to do. If you got to dish off and create for others, he does it as well. So this is a guy that I've seen, especially this season. Whenever we play the Sixers, he seems to dial it up a notch. He averaged 14 and 14 this year against them. And on a pretty efficient stat line as well. Obviously, he's not a 3-point shooter. Maybe that could be a little bit useful this playoffs because as you guys saw during the season, teams were laying off on him, and that could cause a bit of concern in terms of how spacious is the court going to be for those cutters. Like, I mean, we've seen Dante cut a lot, but specifically Jalen Brunson. The Sixers, they have all these tall wing players that could ultimately make it difficult for him when he drives in, or even in general, just always blitzing him and whatnot. So the Josh Hart effect needs to, come into his full fruition as we saw in the season. Like I said, he played well, but can he knock down some of those 3-pointers, or even just extend the floor just a little bit, man? Because we know that he's gonna bring the energy. We know he could play both sides of the floor, especially defensively. He's going to match up well with these extremely long wings that the Sixers have. But can he at least hit just one three, maybe even two at times? I know he can hit them every now and then, especially in rhythm. But as we saw during the season, he was looking away from the court. He wasn't even trying to shoot the ball. So, and Zebo actually has been a little more hard on Josh Hart because we know that's not really his game. But in the playoffs, when things slow down and teams are really strategizing for you, specifically a 7-game series, is going to stand out a little bit more, especially because of the fact that Josh Hart really didn't shoot too well this season from three. So that's my X factor in this round.
Yeah, Josh Hart played a great series against the Cavaliers last year. Kind of disappeared against Miami. So
yeah,
we need all hands on deck here because we saw that last year against Miami. I mean, we only Jalen Brunson showed up for that series. And we lost in 6. So Josh Hart definitely needs to bring it once again. But Omar, I'm gonna throw it to you, man. What's the biggest X factor? I know Julius is not here, so please, don't give us Julius.
No, definitely not Julius. But I think it's a combo of DiVincenzo and OG Anunoby on offense. And in the Miami series last year that you guys just mentioned, it was Jalen was getting his, but where was everybody else? MIA, missing shots, right? So those corner threes for OG, those quick catch threes off screens for Dante, those got to fall. And because it's kind of like we were talking about Philly, where we know Embiid's going to get his. I think Philly's looking at it as like, well, Brunson's going to get his. He's going to hopefully get to the line and, score a bunch of points in bunches the way he does. But, when they blitz him and we're kind of throwing it out to one of these two guys, they got to knock down the shots. And I think if we do that, we're looking at a pretty good chance of advancing to the second round here. But yeah, those guys got hit their shots. That's what did us in last year against Miami when RJ, Grimes, those guys, Julius were kind of missing all those open looks that were kind of being created for them. So if those start dropping, and I think if those guys are hitting them, Don Juan, to your point, Josh Hart will get a little bit more free reign to roam. Maybe his confidence goes up. He starts hitting some shots, and it becomes like a domino effect. So, yeah, to me, offensively, that's going to be the key for the Knicks this series.
Dante's Inferno, man. What a season by Dante. I mean, who saw this coming? Like
No
this
one.
man just stepped up come December, starting lineup and just he didn't give it back. He didn't give it back. And it's something we didn't have last year. And he just fit in seamlessly with Jalen. You know, they were ex-teammates at Nova. Everybody knows that story. So it's awesome. Been awesome to see. But Zebo, who is your X factor here in these series?
Yeah, now so for me, I'm gonna go with somebody too that's gonna be coming off the bench and giving us good minutes. I think it's gonna be Deuce McBride. He's definitely he's been one of the surprising guys in the second half. Like every time this guy come in, you know what you're gonna get. You're gonna get very good 3-point shooting. You're gonna get intensity on defense, and that's what I expect this series. I mean, as much as we want to put all the focus and rightfully so on Joel Embiid, they do also have another All Star in Tyrese Maxey, and
Mhm.
I think Deuce is the second best defender, besides OG Anunoby. And so I think, part of what's going to be key, especially in this series, is slowing down Maxi. And, because again, to guard and which I think, there's going to be times where OG is going to be on him. He's going to be busy with Oubre, with Tobias Harris, with doubling Joel Embiid. And so who's going to be that second guy? Who's going to be that second guy that's gonna go ahead and guard Tyrese Maxey? And I think that's going to be Deuce McBride. And so I think defensively he's definitely going to be key. I expect them to put some type of rotation where he's there in the fourth quarter if he's shooting the ball well. And also offensively, man, like he's been shooting 41% from three. Like he's been great from three. And I think going back to a point that Omar made with this team, especially on offense, is that they're gonna get looks from three. Like that's for sure. Like just seeing how last night's game with Miami went. Tyler Hero, even though he was missing a lot of shots, they were getting good shots from the field, and that's because every single time, Joel Embiid just cannot guard anybody. Like laterally, he just cannot. He can't get up there and guard anybody. So he's gonna be dropping every single time, and that's gonna open up open threes for guys like Dante, for guys like Deuce McBride, and so that's definitely gonna be my X factor moving forward.
Yeah, Deuce he's gonna be an interesting name because we don't know how Tom Thibodeau he's an X factor that we all didn't talk about because Nick Nurse he's a creative coach. He'll do funky things here, start playing boxing one defense, kind of throw you off your game. So Thibodeau is gonna be the one that's gonna have to adjust. And let's see how much minutes he gives Deuce. I think I agree with Zebo 100%. Deuce is definitely our second best defender, and he's gonna have to give Maxi a hard time because Tyrese, he's an all-star in himself. So
Mhm.
it's gonna be interesting what bodies we throw at Maxi. We got a couple guys here we could throw at him. Josh Hart, DiVincenzo, Deuce. So that's gonna be needed. I would say
Yeah.
for these playoffs. Chris,
That's
you
what I
wanted
was
to say
wondering
something?
about. That was what I was wondering about is the matchup with Maxi because obviously we have to be able to contain him, not let him get to the rim and all that. We know how quick he is, and you saw yesterday. Sometimes it was like he's like a blur and all that. So that was the one thing I'm interested in and wanted to get your guys, comments on who you think will get the initial, you know, chance to guard him, and how would you guys try to, what do you think Tibbs is going to do to try to neutralize? Because if we neutralize Maxi, I think with Joel hobbled, we could win this series. So I think that's the big thing is not letting Maxi go off. Because if we let him go
Right.
off, then this series is gonna be a dog. It's gonna be a dog fight as is, but it's gonna be tough. It's gonna go 6-7 for sure if we let Maxi do what Maxi does. So I wonder what you guys think. Do we start off with is it Dante initially, and then obviously we mix up with Deuce and obviously with Hart and all that. But what do you think is the initial game plan to stop Maxi and who guards him first?
I'll go first. Tyrese, he had a couple big games against the Knicks. He had 27, 27, 35, and 17. I mean, he's a tough matchup. He's a tough matchup. But this is where I would say the Knicks have advantage because I just mentioned you could throw a Deuce, you could throw a Dante, you could throw Josh Hart at him, and I just don't know who they could throw at Jalen Brunson. Like I just feel like Jalen
Mhm.
could cook anybody they have. But I think the initial matchup will go to Dante. And you kind of have OG as the free safety, kind of help on Embiid, help on Maxi. I don't think you get OG initially guarding Maxi, but I think if he's going off and he's just not being stopped, that's when you'll see OG on Tyrese. It's like, come over here, man. We're gonna slow this down, and that's just such an advantage for the Knicks, man, that we haven't had in. I can't even tell you when was the last time. I just feel comfortable that if Maxi is going off and he can't be stopped, you put OG on him and that will get neutralized, in my opinion.
So my take on that is I think for the intimidation factor, you throw Josh Hart at him initially. Bigger guy, physical, and just kind of give him that introduction into that playoff basketball. Just like in case you forgot what this is like, here's this physical dude who's just gonna, make sure you get touched on your way to the rim. Because we know he's gonna try and get to the rim, right? Because he's gonna try to use the speed that Chris kind of was alluding to. So I wonder if they start on Hart, mix in Dante, and an occasional OG and Deuce to kind of keep him guessing, because it's to everybody, what everybody's been saying. We kind of have a feeling that Joel's going to score his points, and the series is won and lost on how you're going to contain Maxi. And so I think throwing some size at him could be a way to do that.
Yeah, I agree. Definitely, I think we all kind of in terms of the ideal players guarding him is pretty much the same. What I would say is we can't double team. That's one thing that I feel like I'm confident enough that our guys could stay in front of him. And if he's making tough shots, he's making tough shots. I mean, we've seen guys hit tough shots, but as long as they're making it difficult, these guys can't defend. If we want to put it in order, who's better, who's not. I mean, that's another story. But I think that our guys are definitely going to make it difficult. Let's just stay away from double teaming, because as we saw yesterday, although it was a different player, they were double teaming Embiid, and the whole game opened up, and a lot of threes went up, and the Knicks are susceptible for of letting a lot of 3 points fly and whatnot. Teams get hot, so I feel like as long as we stay honest, stay in front of the guy, we'll contain him. I mean, he might go off for 30 or 25, but as long as he does that and everybody else is kind of staying like, just being a role player and limited, I think we'll be all right. I think we'll be able to survive a maxi heater.
Don Juan, the benefit of having Mitch back too is like you don't always have to double, right? So you get a little bit of that peace of mind that you got the big fella back there, kind of patrolling the rim, altering his shot a little bit. But yeah, that's So I think that they should be looking to exploit that to their advantage.
Right.
Well, that's why I feel like because of that, even Brunson's gonna have time on Maxi as well.
I definitely agree, and I think it also just depends on how the game's going. I feel like if either Dante or Josh Hart are in foul trouble, then you might see Tibbs, which I think at this point he pretty much trusts Deuce McBride to come in early and just just go ahead and at him. So I think it just depends on how the game is going. If we have some of our guards in foul trouble, then he'll go to Deuce early.
Yeah, it's gonna be a great series. It's gonna be a great series, and that was a great question, Chris. But let's take a little pause as we keep on talking about this playoff series, man. And I want to just before we lock in all the way, because we're about to be locked in all the way. We on our way to the NBA Finals right now. It's the NBA Finals run. So before here's the end of the season. So before the playoffs started, man, I just want to shower and show some love to our point guard, Jalen Brunson. I mean, the man had an amazing, amazing season. Should be in the top 5 in MVP voting. First team NBA, second team NBA. It really depends. It might be first. It might be first. It might be second. But I think they might put him second just because of the season Jason Tatum is having with his team success. But I just want to go round table right now and just tell me one thing that you loved about Jalen Brunson this season. I'm gonna mix it up. Omar, I'm gonna start with you.
Consistency and determination. Injuries. OG went out for a while. Julius obviously done for the year. Mitch was out for a while. The guys who came in with RJ and quickly, big parts of the rotation, Quentin Grimes, gone, and then you had to integrate and work with guys like Precious Achua, Malachi Flynn for a cup of coffee, and at the center of it, he was the focus, right, and kept the team afloat. when all that shit was happening, still led this team to the 2nd seed and took all the hate, took all the kind of negative stuff that people were saying about him, mostly because of his size, the incorrect assessments that he's a foul merchant, all that stuff, and just went out and averaged 28 points a game and put the team on his back, put the city on his back. The reason why we feel like we can make a run to the conference finals, even with the injuries to Julius, is because of this guy, right? And I think he'll get MVP votes. I really do. And because he's just played at that level.
Yeah, he should definitely get MVP votes. Chris, show some love to the New York Knicks point guard, Jalen Brunson.
It's just one word: belief. Like, just gave us belief that we can win every game. Like, there wasn't a game where we're like, maybe now we could win this game, and it didn't matter who was playing. When we beat Denver by 1 billion points when they came to the crib, So the Sixers when we first played them, we whooped that ass. So like, there's just the belief and all that, and that's the one thing that we just won. I've been screaming point guard. That's why I've been all big on point guards in the draft, trying to find that right point guard. And little did we know that, Dallas lowballing him was going to open up this, because imagine 4 for 52. That's like chump change now. He would laugh at that, right? And he believed in himself. And now we got our guy, and we've been trying to chase that star, and we got him. So now we just gotta, and we just found the right pieces around him. So he just gave us a belief that we haven't had in a long time at the point guard spot. So that's the one, man. He just gave us belief, and I'm just, that next contract, he gonna get the bag. So he ain't gonna be no low ball offers. He gonna get the bag and all that, but he deserves it, man. Like Omar said, MVP candidate. I didn't expect that. That's wild, man. That's wild. And I did my awards, and I'm gonna do a pop-up next podcast. I'm gonna do my award show. He's first team All NBA for me, and that's not even a crate. That's not you're a Knicks fan. Nah. If you look through it, he deserves to be first team. Just what he's had to do, especially with the injuries we've had some massive injuries, and he's been able to hold the fort. 50 wins. Yeah, he's all NBA first team for me, and tremendous season. But yeah, just belief, man. A lot of belief.
Deservedly so. And I had one word as well, and I would just say thankful. I know everybody here remembers that game in Cleveland when he just hurt his knee, and it looked like a non-contact injury. And I think we were just all basically sad. It was just like a sad night. Like I went to sleep. I couldn't even sleep. I was just like, because you see the work that this guy's put in, and for his season to look like it'd be over on that play, it was just like sad. It was sad, but thankfully it was a knee bump that we didn't see, and he came back. But yeah, Chris, you said it, but I just want to expand on it a little bit. It's like we've been looking for this star for a long time. We thought we had that in Kristaps. That didn't work out, unfortunately. There, we thought we had that in Carmelo. That we could have a whole podcast. Was it bad management? Was just Carmelo not that guy who could take his team to the next level? We're not really sure. But then before that, it was nobody else. But this right here seems sustainable. You have your dynamic point guard in place. He's 26, 27 years old. And now it's like, okay, what do we build around him? And so far this year, it's looked like we built a perfect team around him. Let's see how far we could go in the playoffs. But I just want to say I'm thankful because, as a Knicks fan, it hasn't been easy. We're the butt of every joke usually. And then it's understandably so. Like, we've been bad for 24 years, fellas. Like, not even like a little bit bad. It's just been laughably bad. And now it looks like, we can hold our chest out, and I can go out now and be like, man, do you have a point guard like Jalen Brunson, top 10 player in this league? And we have a great team, man. So I just want to say to Jalen, very grateful for the season he's given and the season we're about to have in this playoff.
Second round pick, man. Just think about that.
Right.
My guy was a second round pick. It
Hey,
just
second
shows
round
you that
pick.
it just you just never know. You can't the will, the determination, and then him learning from Luca,
Yeah,
like the knowledge of that alone, it's just, and then obviously Jason Kidd too. Like you're learning from two, greats right there. That shows, and then it's just been, man, it's fun. It's been fun to see his growth and all that. But we got to capitalize off this though.
hmm
We have to capitalize. Like, yeah, it's cool, but we got to capitalize off this now because we don't know how long it could be. So we got to take advantage of it now while it's here. Before everybody got to get paid, before he gets paid again and he making supermax money now, and now there's a different level. We got to take advantage of this right now. So yeah, I mean it's cool, but we gotta now we're viewed different. We know that I know a lot of us are still afraid, like, oh man, can we revert back to the old? I think a lot of us are feel like, all right, we're in the right direction. We're not heading down, we're heading more up. So how do we figure out how to get to that next, like that, to be like a true the Knicks can win a championship, so that's the next. Now we got to take advantage of having that star in Brunson and all, and have these good pieces around them. Now we got to capitalize off that. So that's the next exciting part. And this season will dictate how we go.
Great point. Great point for sure. And Don Juan, talk to us about Jalen Brunson.
Well, just one thing that I felt like even prior to his days in the NBA, this is one term that I felt like he carried with him even through college and maybe even through high school. I'm not really familiar with his high school game, but one thing that I did see from just coming out of Villanova, he was a true leader. And this is I pulled up the definition of a true leader right here, just to just so you guys can understand what I see from him, especially this year, where I felt like the guy reached levels so high that he's never reached before. Got the respect of I mean, he's still working on respect of the media, but got the respect from the fan base, the league all around, and the guy is so humble, just is such a willing hard worker that is such a great example to the viewers. I mean, to the kids out there, to Knick fans, that is like, look, man, this is what a true leader looks like. We don't need to really sell our soul for the LeBrons or the KDs of the world, because that's the only way to win, and that actually hasn't been the only way to win. So it's nice to see Brunson reach these highs for sure. But fostering strong relationships with individuals, ensuring all reach their full potentials, while importantly achieving organizational goals. Like that's exactly what Brunson is all about. He's about his team.
Don Juan
He,
hit y'all with the
he
dictionary
brought
meaning right
his
there.
guy he brought his guys with him as well to succeed with him. Like these are guys that he pretty much grew up with. I don't know if you have some college buddies that you're still cool with. Y'all still chop it up to this day. I mean, from being in the dorm room to not eating cup noodle soups, frozen food, like little things like that. They go far with you. And you talk about a team, especially that you're traveling, winning national championships. Like it goes a long way, man. And to see them now in the next level, in the biggest stage in Madison Square Garden, like this is, I mean, it's like almost like a dream come true, and life just coming around full circle for Jalen Brunson, who saw his dad play at Madison Square Garden. So it's nice to see this just come out and play out the way it played out.
Man, get the Kleenex napkin tissue right there. Don Juan just kind of, you even got emotion. I
Yeah, I'll be
start
right
thinking
back,
about
guys.
I start thinking about my college buddy. I'm about to text him right now because it is amazing because you see a lot of people posting the videos of them dancing, fooling around, and they were just kids. And now to put it on the biggest stage, and Jalen actually came out with an article today on the Athletic. It was pretty fire. You should check it out. And he just talks about that, like just the will and the grit, and just showering the fans with love, kind of like what we're doing with him now, right now. So it's just Don Juan dropped the dictionary meaning on the audio. So just take that, listen to that. But Zebo, finish right here, man, showering our guy Jalen Brunson with some love before we get back to this Knicks Sixers preview.
Yeah, bro. I mean, for me personally, I mean, I'm not a Patriots fan, but I do have a lot of Patriots fans in my life. And one thing they would always say, especially when when Tom Brady's there, is the fact that he has this kind of cool, calm, just collective personality about himself. And that's how I honestly feel about Jalen, man. Like I just, I just feel comfortable every single time he's on the floor. Like I expect him to make the right play every single time. And even in his bad shooting nights, the way he affects a game with his passing, doesn't matter what it is. I mean, even there were some games where he just, he would get 4 or 5 steals where he'd be diving on the ground, man. Like he's just he's the type of player I never thought we would have, because it just seemed like every single star that we did have, there was always some type of scrutiny, valid or not. But with him, man, he just has this demeanor where it's just everything is, it's like nothing's above him. Like he's always there to show love to his teammates, to the organization, man, to everyone working, Coach Tibbs, his dad, all the assistant coaches. And I mean, the fact that we do have that, man, like I said, man, every time we are in a game, I expect them, I feel cool, like I feel calm, which to coming from a Knicks fan is just crazy. Like it's just crazy. You never expect to feel like that. You always expect to feel stress. Like you always expect for some dumb shit to happen, whatever it is. But whenever he's there, man, it's just I just feel good with any type of decision he makes, because I know he's gonna make the right one. So yeah, man, shout out to him.
Yeah, man. Salute to Jalen Brunson, but if we lose in the first round, it'll be disappointing. So we had to get this out because we cannot lose in the first round. We'll feel totally different.
Yeah, we're saying all that. If we lose in the
Yeah,
first round, it's gonna revert back to the old days.
yeah,
So,
yeah, badly, badly. So that's why I kind of wanted to get it in here before, maybe it'd be a tough time for Knicks fans. But let's switch gears, go back to this Knicks Sixers series. Listen, fellas, we cannot lose in the first round. I feel like Chris talked about it earlier, how you build team success, and every year you have to get better, right? So last year we won 47 games, we went to the second round. This year we got better, won 50 games, but now, in order for it to be a success, you want to either battle in the second round, which last year I didn't feel like we battled too much, or eventually get to that third round. So to do that, we have to get past the 76ers here. So I want to go around the table again here and give me uh, key. What's something key that the Knicks have to do? It could be a player, it could be a scheme, it could be anything here to win this first series. I want you to think about that. I'll go first. I think the Knicks, they have to play with pace. I mean, you saw that with Milwaukee and Boston these last few games to end the season. Knicks played with an amazing pace. They kind of just switched gears because the Knicks, they like to play slow. They like to play physical. They like to get in there, beat you up. That's their game. They play a tough, gritty game, and Philly likes that as well. Obviously, with Joel Embiid in the middle, they like playing physical. They like that matchup. But I think they have to play pace because I was rewatching that Nick Philly versus Miami game last year, and just Philly, you kind of look, and they just really have weird weapons. Like they have the veterans and Kyle Lowry and Nick Batum, but do you trust those players to beat you 4 times in a series? I am not sure about that, and I'll be very disappointed if I see that. But they're annoying veterans. Kyle Lowry, how many times has he cooked us in the past? And Nick Batum, he's been annoying too. Even though he played it in the other conference, he's just been a menace his whole career. So just taking out Joel Embiid and Tyrese Maxey, they're gonna get theirs. It is what it is. They're two of the top players in the league. But I feel like if the Knicks play with that pace, Joel Embiid is not right, fellas. He's just not right. He's either still hurt or out of shape, and he's just not looking too good. So if the Knicks can just run, play with pace, I don't see the Sixers being able to keep up, especially with the way Joel Embiid is. I just really don't see it. So I think the key for the Knicks to win this series is to play with extreme pace and be efficient. That's for me. What about you, Chris? I'll start off with you.
you know what they did a lot against Philly this year? When Josh Hart got the rebound off a missed shot, they just ran. That's exactly what they got. Like you said, they got to play with a faster pace, faster tempo. That's exactly what we got to do. When Josh Hart gets the ball, move, and then they did that a lot and all that. So that's going to be the key. Don't play to their pace, because when you play Joel's game, that's when that's when he's going to get the foul, and then now things are going to get ugly. Now, That's what you got to do. Get the rebound fast. Just play fast pace and all that. Josh Hart does that a lot when he gets rebounds. They just move. That's what they got to do. Move, move, move. Because they are a little bit of an older team. You know, they don't have a lot of great defenders and all that. So you got to move on all that. Catch them in transition. They're not a great transition defense team. You know, so we have to be able to catch, move, and boom. You know, we got the shooters. If we got to do boom, you know, clip that thing quick or take it to the rack and all that. But that's what we got to do. With Joel hobbled, that's exact. And they did that a lot versus, and they've done that a lot, period, this year, where Josh Hart gets the ball and they just move. And whether he's the lead guard or he you know, he passes in midcourt or whatever, and then we get into quick offense. You know, take advantage of that. We got to get them off their toes and all that. Quick transition is going to be the key. Transition offense and defense and the rebounding is the key. So if we could do that with a hobbled Embiid, that should be the key. But if we don't do that, then we cannot play at their pace. Cannot let Joel get comfortable in that elbow and all that. You know, especially if we get into pick and rolls and stuff where he can potentially get a way smaller defender or something, or he's got Josh Hart's guarding him on pick and rolls and all that. Got to figure that out and all that and just talk. But to me, the key for offensively is when we get defensive rebounds, push it, because Joel is not going to be able to get back and and get up. If we get up quick on them, it'll be. But that's what we got to do, man. They did that a lot versus Sixers this year, But and like I said in general, but that's going to be the key, pushing the pace. Once they get the defensive rebound and moving, because they're not, they're Joel's hobbled. We got to take advantage of that. So hopefully we get to see that more and all that. But how the playoffs is, it's different. Sometimes things go, somebody said yesterday, they're like, there's teams that are, have playoff, regular season coaching and playoff coaching. This is where we got to see our guy Tibbs step up and really, show why he's one of the better coaches, because this is the defining moment for him too, because he's been in the league. We know he's a great coach. We know he can do in the regular season. He elevates every team he goes to. We've seen it. Now we got to see going against a coach who's won a championship, and Nick Nurse, who's kind of like it's kind of like that Spider-Man meme when they're looking at each other. They're kind of the same. Like they called Nick Nurse Tibbs Light, because he's like a carbon copy and all that, and so that's gonna be the key for me. So because we don't run offenses, neither team runs any offense. They don't run plays and all that. So it's kind of just like off the rip, get it and just move. So hopefully we can take advantage of that, because like I said, Joel hobble, we got to find ways to move quick and get some easy buckets. So hopefully we see that.
Yeah, and you made a great point about the pick and roll. I mean, it's just gonna get, if we don't want to play half court against this team, because that pick and roll with Maxey and Embiid, I mean, it's a nightmare to guard. I mean, pick your poison. Who are you picking? And that's what I like about Hartenstein as well. When he gets that rebound, he's looking up. He's looking to throw it somewhere half court. He's like trying to launch it. He's trying to be Jokic light, they called him.
That's what having good big men that know how to pass is. I know people want the old big man back, but the old big men didn't know how to pass out of the post. That's why that's kind of getting thrown out. Mm-hmm. Hardenstein can do that. So that's such an underrated thing. When you're big and that's I think the frustration we had with Mitch, right? Is like every time he got the ball in his hand, it's either, he got brick hands and ball goes out of bounds, or when he gets the ball, it's a turnover. Well, Hardenstein, we know he knows he's going to be able to front you and be able to pass it and all that. So that's been the most underrated thing. If a big can do that, that's just so valuable.
Yeah, Mitch is like a deer in the headlight. He's looking like, oh, what do I do with this? what is this, Ray? What is this orange thing in my hand? Like, I just know how to swat it.
And this is the same dude that wants more. Is getting mad that he's not getting enough offensive touches and all that. Man. And it's like, dude, but there's a reason why. You think Tibbs would, wouldn't let you, rock out with the ball in your hand more if you could do it? No, he knows you can. Those off-season videos people get hyped about. Never get hyped over off-season big men doing things that they would never do in a real game. People get hyped. He's doing a dribble. I'm like, first of all, that's nasty how he's doing it. Don't get hyped though. I was like, nah, get out of here. And guess what? He never did it. We took one shot out of the paint. Come on.
Yeah, no, it's ridiculous. I never seen Mitch shoot only in the off-season videos. But listen, fellas, I got to skedaddle. The show just started, people. So keep on rocking with the guys. I mean, Don Juan, Zebo, and Omar got to give their keys, and they got to give their predictions. And the show just started. This is not done. I'm going to lock in. I'm going to tune in. I just got to skedaddle real quick. But again, my brothers, thank y'all for letting me hop on with y'all and talking. It's going to be an exciting series, and I know we're going to keep chopping it up. My prediction is like Knicks in 6. I want to explain myself, but I gotta get out of here. And I can't wait to hear the keys that you guys all have, man. But Chris is about to take over. Don Juan, Zebo, Omar, still in the building. Triple M signing out. I'm gonna holla at y'all.
Peace out, bro.
Nah,
All
bro.
right. So we talked about the X factors for the Knicks.
Mhm.
Let's flip it to the Sixers side. Who are the obviously we know Joel what he can do. You know, whether he's 100% or not, he could still affect the game because even yesterday he still had 25 and 15, 6 assists, whatever, right?
Yeah.
And still be able to affect the game and all that. We know what Max he can do, but who's the one guy that the Knicks really, other than those two guys, that we really have to focus on? You know, because we saw Batum go off yesterday and all that.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
who's the guy on the Sixers that we really have to worry that, you know, make sure that they don't go off, because then, you know, obviously it could be a long series. Zebo, you go first.
For me, it has to be Kelly Oubre because I think he's going to be one of the. I think the emphasis will be on. It will be on Tobias Harris, but I think he's a person as well that's gonna, that's definitely gonna go ahead. I think that's a person that's definitely going to step up as well, and so that's something that's a person we definitely have to keep an eye on because from three, if he shoots the ball really well, I think he had some pretty good games against us when we did face him. So for me, it's definitely Kelly Oubre because he's going to be a focal point in that offense, especially if Joel Embiid is not 100%, then they will try to rely on him to go ahead and drive to the basket, shoot the ball. So definitely
And
Kelly Oubre.
and defensively, he guarded Jalen a lot to start off games
Yep.
too. So that's going to be key. Just he's going to be a focal point, and it's crazy. Like Tobias Harris might be like the fifth, sixth person you got to worry about in this.
Yeah, no, I
series.
think he'll be a decoy in kind of in a sense. So
Yeah.
we'll see.
Omar.
I think you guys mentioned Nick Batum. I think he just had his best playoff game yesterday. I think that's kind of like here's what I got type thing. But I'm gonna go with Buddy Hield. If he starts making shots, that's a problem, And really, any of these guys, the Knicks really got to defend the 3-point line so fucking much against this team. Oubre, Lowry, Harris, Hield, these guys can catch and shoot and get hot. And Hield especially, he's one of those guys. Once he gets going, it's tough to get him stopped, right? So I think that when he gets his minutes, he only played 17 minutes against Miami. So if he gets those 20 minutes or so in this series, we gotta get a hand in his face, and just make the presence felt. Because again, if they start hitting a bunch of shots, it's going to free up stuff for Embiid and Maxey, and that's the last thing that the Knicks really want. So is to let these role players kind of shoot the lights out and beat us.
100%. Don Juan.
And you guys, it's like I moved on to the next one on my list, and you guys are just getting at them. But it's serious though. I mean, all these guys are key to the Sixers' success because they don't really have consistent scorers. So you kind of need a bit of everybody to perform. But what I would say is, because I'm already down on my third guy now on the list, I think Kyle Lowry is a sneaky X factor. I feel like he's always with the Knicks too. He's always like an annoying character when it comes to battles.
He did last year. Just hit shots. You're like, yo, he's like 30.
He'll be flopping everywhere, man.
He's 38 years old. I mean,
minutes.
you honestly thought he was done, washed already, just back in his Toronto days. When he was on the Heat, it was like, nah, this is his last legs. He's probably not even a crack the rotation. And he played some valuable minutes, especially last year against us. But like I said, he's always been that one character. We obviously know that he could hit the shot, clutch shots. He doesn't always hit them, but when he needs to, he does come through. He also is a pretty good leader. He could play with Maxey on the court. So it's two guys now that you can rely with the ball in hand. So I feel like that's a guy that we definitely have to watch out, especially if he gets hot, because then he's going to talk his smack. He's not a terrible defender still in today's age. Obviously, if he's playing against Brunson's going to cook him, but there's gonna be ways for him to, hide him on defense, because at the same time there's Josh Hart who can't shoot threes. When I'm bringing that back, so there's gonna be situations where they're gonna hide him, but can we, answer back on other situations where they're gonna run that pick and roll with him and Joel Embiid, which Kyle Lowry, like I said, he's been a point guard for years now. that's his bread and butter, playing with a big man that could open up the game for him as well. So that's a player that I'm gonna keep my eye out. And man, I hate Kyle Lowry. I tell you that it's too much pain he's caused in my life, man. Whether it was when he was in Toronto, whether it was last year with the Heat, man, it's just he's always around some way somehow, and now he's on the Sixers.
Yeah, it's just being a pest, and that's why you need vets. That's why having vets like that, like Batum is not the same Batum of old, when he was in Portland and Charlotte, and same thing with Lowry. But just having those vets that just know how to play basketball and can give you valuable minutes when the games matters most. We saw with Kyle. Like Kyle wasn't good last year with Miami, but in the playoffs, he just knew what he had to do and killed us. It's some big shot, and he's been hitting big shots for a long time. So
Right.
and he's just pesky on defense and all that. And we'll see him on Brunson some, not a lot because obviously he can't guard the whole time, but we'll see him a lot. And it's going to be interesting to see how the refs handle that, because we know playoffs, it gets more physical and all that. When we know the whole situation with Brunson, maybe not getting all the calls and all that, how will they officiate him? Because we know that they kind of seeing how he plays, like kind of what James Harden and Trae Young, how they kind of manipulate, the foul call and all that. How will they handle that is going to be very interesting. That's the one thing I'm going to look at, how they officiate Jalen Brunson. Because, I know people got crazy over, him. There's times he does, but hey, it's part of the game, and all that. It's a part of the game. I wasn't mad what Trae was doing or Harden. Hey, that's in the rules. And if they're allowed to do it, yeah. So that's going to be key, is also how the officiating handles that. Because Kyle's going to be physical and he's going to bait. He's going to bait. So again, and there's a lot. He flops. We know the flopping. So that's going to be very interesting to see in that. But let's go.
That's definitely a key to the game, man. Because
Yeah,
Embiid on the other hand, he's actually someone that's always baiting and gets the whistle.
And he's got to line too.
He's gonna get the whistle.
Yeah. He's
there's
going
no way
to.
around.
But we have enough bigs. And even if we got to use Jericho, Jericho, you got 6 fouls. Use them all.
Yeah,
Use them all. You got to be good for something.
Some of them precious minutes.
If you're going to pressure, hey, we got 4.
Yeah,
So, hey,
we got 4 guys.
Especially Jericho, man. He's useless. But do something, man. Use them 6 fouls. That's your job. Just get in front of him. Just
Chris, I gotta say, I wish that everybody finds someone that loves them as much as you hate Jericho Sims. So
it's crazy. For a guy who's 7 foot tall, 240, can jump out the gym, he does not know anything about basketball. Like, just he doesn't know how to set screens. It's that if you're a big and you know how to set screens, that's like a big no to me. You know how to set boxing out, just little things and all that, but. You got 6 fouls, but if you are going to play in the series, which I don't know, just use them all and all that. But we got enough bigs to throw at them, and all that. But the officiating is going to be interesting with Brunson and Embiid, because we know they, especially Embiid, sometimes there's times he's gone to the line 20 times, and he can hit his free throws, too. So we don't want that usually, and that's a rare case with bigs where you usually like hack they hacking Mitch. Then we might see that too. We saw that during the end of the season when Mitch came back. They were fouling him. With Embiid, you don't want that, because, like, damn, he's going to hit his free throws. That's the difference. So that's going to be interesting to see how the officiating and all that. But got the Sixers and all that. So this is going to be an interesting series. Obviously, this is a rivalry, division rivalry. With the cities don't like each other and all that. So I want to get a prediction from you guys. Let's see who wins the series. How many games do we win in this? And so Zebo, start off first.
Yeah, man. I've been I wanted to say I was thinking about doing Knicks in 5, but I feel like that would be too much disrespect to the Sixers. So I'm going Knicks in 6. I think at the end of the day, with the hobble jaw Embiid, I would say that he would be the best. He would be the best player in this series, but because he is, because he's probably 50-60%. We have the best player in the series in Jalen Brunson, and even if he has, even in his bad shooting nights, I think guys like Dante, guys like OG is gonna step up, and I think at the end of the day we'll end up shooting better than them because we will have better looks. Because he is hobbled, like I said, I think the shots will. I think the shots will open up for us, and we'll end up, I think we'll end up making it. So, I think the biggest question is, can we sustain the 3-point shooter that the 3-point shooting that we've had this season? If we can sustain it during the playoffs, then we should be fine, because history tells us, especially in the playoffs, usually the best 3-point shooting team is the one that's advancing, and so I expect us to be that team.
Yeah. The only asterisk is that Miami. Last year they were in the bottom of the
exactly.
bottom
That's
of the
a
barrel.
perfect example.
We out rebound. It's crazy. I always think about this here. It still bothers me. Like the week before the playoffs started, they came to the crib and we dominated them on the boards and all. We out rebounded them every game. Everything was like, I was more confident than them versus Miami than against Cleveland. So like it's just like, as much as like Jimmy's hurt and all that, I was like, you know what, Miami, Miami gotta worry about the others, because it's like, you know what, enough with them, man. Right? It's just there's just something about them. Like, even though like you on paper we're better, it was like, nah, I don't even want to deal with that. Let Boston handle that if they even beat Chicago. Like they gotta beat Chicago to even get them, but like let another team worry about that. I'll take our chances with Philly.
I was not ready to deal with that mental warfare, man. I had enough.
That's what it is. It's a
That's
mental, and Spoelstra is levels. There's levels to it. Tibbs is a great coach, but Spoelstra is a master, and we know what he could do with less. And last year is a perfect example. We should have went to the conference finals, but
they ended up shooting well.
They shot. He just a mastermind and all that. His coaching and all that. But yeah,
look, we found out about Mario's twin Caleb Martin last year. Like I didn't.
He killed it. Yeah, he was another one. He was another one, man. Oh, Mario's brother killed us too. Like
for real, came out of nowhere. Yeah, but I'm gonna say, I'm not gonna feel, I know Zebo, he was thinking about it, but I ain't even think about it, man. Knicks in 5, man. I'm gonna stick with it. Last year I started off first round Knicks in 5. Wasn't really received the way that I thought. I was like, Knicks in 5. Everybody's gonna agree with this. I mean, we dominated the Cavs all season. I just think that personally, a hobbled Embiid, he looked okay. He still looked decent yesterday. But we have the bigs to actually make it uncomfortable for him. I'm not sure if you guys remember the one game that we played against him. We made it so bad on him. I mean, he looked really uncomfortable out there.
Yeah, it was the first game we played him this season.
And we destroyed them. And he actually had a good night as well. But as long as it was just him and Maxey doing their thing and everybody else did dirt. So bring it back to also not double teaming. As long as we don't double team, bro, we might even sweep them. But I'm gonna give them a little gentleman sweep, because there's gonna be that one vet that's gonna go off, whether it was the Batums, the Lowrys. Those guys are definitely gonna get on a heater one game. They got the one game. They got that one game. Yesterday was the Batum game. We might get the Lowry game or something like that. But I give them one game. Knicks in 5.
Knicks in 5. Gotta give you a round of applause. Omar, what we think? What's going to happen with this series? Who wins it? How many games?
I would love to agree with Don Juan and say Knicks in 5, but I feel like I'm still a jaded Knicks fan at my core, so I'm going to agree with Debo and say Knicks in 6. I think too much Brunson, too much OG defensively, too much shooting from Dante gets it done. I respect Joel Embiid too much to say he's going to get swept in the first round. And I think there's going to be a couple of games where he just goes ballistic, even at minimal health. And I think that Philly, if Philly kind of like loses in less than 6, that's going to be an interesting offseason for them. But I think this Knicks team is the real deal. I really think that they could give Boston a series. And I think it's ultimately that Brunson is just going to feast on their guards and just be able to just do whatever the hell he wants in the paint and be able to open up the 3. And so I like the Knicks in 6 games in this one.
Knicks in 6 for Omar. All right. I like chaos. And I love that. I love the NBA and I love NBA chaos. So I know you guys said in 5. I know some of you said in 6. Get the brooms out.
Ooh.
Sending them packing. We're ending everything in Philly, bro. We ending everything. We get bang, We are ruining. We're ending
like
Philly's
that.
era. Sweep. I'm not just saying that, but I do feel we could sweep these guys. They're hobbled. We dominated them essentially this whole season. Even with Embiid, we beat them by 20 plus. Even without Embiid, we took care of business. They're hobbled. They struggled with Miami with Jimmy with one leg and all that. They haven't looked the same. I feel like we're clicking. I know we don't got Julius, and that sucks. But we still have, Brunson's going to be able to do his thing, get to the paint, and be able to score. We have Dante's going to continue to shoot. We're going to get them in pick and roll situations where we're going to give them headaches. So I'm going Knicks to sweep. And I just want to see Philly just up in, like I got Mo Murphy, go up in flames. And I like chaos. So I'm going for the sweep and all that. I think, and like Omar said, if whether it's 4 or 5, they're going to be shaking in Philly. So I'm rooting. That's what I'm rooting for. I want to see Philly struggle. If there's a city that we want to see struggle, it's Philly. They got a statue of a fake character, and that still bothers me. That bothers my soul. That they got a statue of a fake character. So I will never.
Rocky catching strays on this podcast.
Like he got a bigger. I know. We it got the AI statue wasn't what it was, but still don't feel right. But going with the sweep. I'm going with the sweep. I feel it. I'm feeling it.
Yo, Chris, you're not planning to go to Philly, right, for the game, like.
Nah, I'm staying.
Okay.
They different over there, but
Philly fans a little hostile. That's why I've never been to Eagles Giants game. I'm not doing it to myself.
That's wild. I know people have gone there. They're like, don't even wear their jerseys.
That's a war zone over there.
A war zone. It's a war zone, but. Nah, I feel it. I just feel like we're clicking and all that.
I hear that.
Everything's going.
I agree.
Brunson is playing at the end of the season. I think averaging like 38 a game the last 15 games and all. He's just who's guarding him. I don't think they have no one that can guard him. I mean, you can have Oubre and all that, but I don't. Even when Oubre could give him some, but not much. I mean, we saw it when Oubre was Brunson's going to get to his spots and all that. Dante's going to do his thing. We got enough bigs to handle Embiid. Yeah, Embiid may be able to still give you 25, 30, but we just throwing bodies with Hardenstein, Mitch, Precious, even damn Jericho Sims, do something, man. We got it. Sweep. I'm going with it. I feel it. I believe
it. Sweep, and not one score over 100 for them.
It didn't happen.
Under 99 points.
It's going to be low scoring games. It's going to be low scoring games. Except we didn't give up they didn't score more than 97s? Whatever.
Yeah, 97, 94, I think. But on average, it was
like that.
On average, it was like
games under
87
points.
Yeah.
Two games under 80 is
so, right? I mean, and even the game that Joel did play, we give them, they scored like 90-some points. So they think the defense is going to be rocking. And then we have the greatest home court advantage in the NBA.
Big time.
That's a major factor. We loud in the regular season. Some teams wait to the playoffs to get loud. We loud from game 1 to game 82, and then obviously the playoffs. So that to me is an underrated thing. That's going to get guys. If they feel a little tired, we got that. We got that 6-man. That 16th man, whatever you want to call it. Mm-hmm. So I feel it. I'm excited, guys. I know you guys are excited, but this was fun.
Yeah. I like the energy. I like the energy all around.
I love it. It feels good. We're this franchise is moving in the right direction. So that's another thing. Like we've mentioned, when we start off the show. Just it feels good to just know that it's not just a blip in the radar. It's like this is real and all that. So now we got to see where this goes. And this is step one. And like we said, this isn't a typical 7 seed. Especially in the East. Usually 7 seeds in the East are like 36 win, the Hawks or the the Bulls, right? The team that are that just played yesterday. Like it's teams like that. We got a different 7 seed. So we have our, it's not the slight Philly, that why I think I'm sweet. I'm just confident, but this could go 6 or 7. That wouldn't shock me either, because we're going against the defending MVP, and if he didn't get hurt, he would have won back to back because he was on a clip. They got Maxey, who could be an all-in. They got good players, and they got a championship coach. So, we can't discredit that. But I think we all feel good about this team, even without Julius. We still feel confident. We have enough we have enough info to feel confident about this team. Since Julius has been out since the beginning of the year, so I think we're feeling good. So I'm excited about this. I know you guys are, but like I said, it's a pleasure to talk to you guys and get ready for this. I'm sure we got to do more of these. I'm sure we'll recap. I don't know if we're going to recap after game one, whatever, or to recap the series. Hopefully it's a good recap. But it's a pleasure. Chopping up with my Knicks fan Wild and crew and Omar. We doing things with our podcast. We're going to get ready for episode 2. We're rocking with that. So we're doing big things, but the Knicks are we're excited and all that. So before we sign off, everybody, we'll go around the horn. Tell them where they can find you on socials and all that. You got anything going on? Zebo?
Yeah, man. Just keep on like and subscribe, man. Follow us on Knicks Fans Wildin', man. And again, man, shout out to the On the Ball Network, man. For the great work they do, man. Omar, keep doing your thing, man. I'm keeping up with all your stories and like you said, bro. We'll hopefully there is a deep playoff run, and I think we're gonna continue doing this. And like we mentioned last episode, like we are going to be outside for some of these playoff games. We will be on 34th Street, so we'll be out there. So any Knicks fans or whatever, definitely interact with us. So yeah, man, I'm waiting for a good playoff run.
Sure, we're gonna see Mario somehow. He'll.
Oh yeah, for sure. That's a good.
You're never gonna find him.
They're gonna find. I remember somebody send me something on TikTok. Yo, look at this dude just going crazy. I'm looking close. I'm like, yo, that's Mario.
Yeah, no, for sure.
I'm like, yo, I know him. We do podcasts and stuff together. Like, no, really? Right. Yeah, he's always going. The camera finds him all the time and all that. Omar.
Yeah, man, you can find me on X/Twitter, whatever you like to call it, at OmarZHRN. You can find my written pieces on Off the Ball Network. You can check out my new podcast, Deep Cover Podcast, on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. Chris, I gotta get you on an episode pretty soon. Gotta get you all on an episode pretty soon. But yeah, check me out there. Always available. So love talking to you guys. Can't wait to do it again. And hopefully we're recapping the series after a sweep, like Chris said.
Yeah. We'll be back next week.
Yeah, I know there's gonna be people that are they got it pinned, whatever I said, a minute. After like an hour, they're gonna be like, "Remember you said this week?" So that it could come back. Hopefully not. But Don Juan, tell the people they can find you.
Hey, you can find me on Twitter, Don Juan 607, and on Instagram as well. Make sure to follow Knicks Wallin on all social media platforms. Make sure to like this video right here, man. This is a great show. Mm-hmm. Just giving y'all a little preview. I'm pretty sure, like Chris said, there's gonna be people that we got enough people in the network that they're all ready to spin the block and laugh on our faces. But at the end of the day, that's what keeps us flowing. That's
we're used to that, man. We've dealt with worse.
Chat, so.
We've dealt with worse at Knicks fans.
Yeah, for real. This is nothing, man. Especially to be here right now in the playoffs, man. We weren't even in the playoffs before. We was going fishing way before. But
we were losing 67 games and getting the number 3 pick.
Oh man! What a journey has it been?
Summer 19, man. That's the start of a new era of basketball. It's crazy. Summer 19 it went from the worst, literally probably the worst moment as us as being Knicks fans. Like that was the lowest of the low.
Yeah,
until I think 5 years later. Look,
and it was the lowest. It was the lowest of the low that we wanted. We wanted to hit rock bottom at one point, and it seemed like the franchise didn't want to do it. They would go on these magical runs at the end of the season, win 4 or 5 games, get us out of contention of the first pick. And it's like, bro, what is going on?
What are we doing? Just give us one bad year. We just want one bad year so we can strike gold and all that. But hey, we got to go through those, and we've been through a lot as fans and all that. So
that's a fact. That's a fact, man. But it was a pleasure recording with y'all, man. I'm not gonna
lie,
man.
Follow me.
It's been a minute. It's been a minute.
Yeah, we gotta do these more.
Show, so it's nice to
do these more, and just gotta do a lot more of these, and hopefully do it live. I know we've been talking about that, but doing a live show, I don't know, find some spot in the city. I think that's the next step and all that. But I appreciate you guys. You can follow me Off the Ball Pod. I'm doing a bunch of shows. Me and Omar do our What If series. We're starting the second our second episode. We're in the works. We're going to talk about Brandon Roy. what ifs, because there's so many what ifs for Brandon Roy and all that. The first thing was what if Shaq never left. The Orlando, a 2-part series. Catch that out on all audio platforms. I'm doing Get a Bucket podcast to cover college and high school scene, and now I'm going to be doing a new NBA draft with my guy Corbin Ford. We're going to be doing the all stuff NBA draft and all that. So I'm excited about that. But Off the Ball Network, make sure to check out all the great stuff on the network, offtheballnetwork.com. Go to OTB_network on X, and all that, and check out all the great content creators that we got out there. But on that note, be well, be safe, take care. Let's go Knicks.